Hello, and welcome to another episode of Liberty Nation TV. I'm Sarah Cowgill, and we're going to give you an inside view of what to expect when it comes to employment opportunities. My secret weapon is Liberty Nation's economic guru, Mr. Andrew Moran. Andrew, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's talk jobs, or perhaps the lack thereof, as we careen into the new year like a runaway locomotive. Let me begin with a question. Is President Biden now to be known as the jobs president? The monthly jobs reports show hundreds of thousands of gains, but what's behind these numbers that makes them question the overall labor market?
Yeah, well, in one of my recent Swamponomics columns, I talked about how 2021 was the highest of highs and lowest of lows. You know, one month you had 1 million job creation, and the next one you had, 220,000 jobs falling short of estimates. I think the chief problem is with the way the business media and perhaps the press in general cover these jobs numbers. So yes, it's true that the U.S. created or added, more than 5 million jobs in 2021. The problem is that the economy is still short between 3 and 5 million jobs from before the pandemic. And this is important. And I think the other key factor is that the labor force participation rate is at a 47-year low. The millions are underemployed, meaning their skills don't match their jobs, or they're working part-time yet they want to work full-time. And I think also this is another crucial point. Perhaps the data is too premature on this fact, but I think the pandemic benefits really impact the labor market in a negative way. I really think it diminished the work ethic that a lot of Americans have, because they got accustomed to all this free money, all this government cash, all this basic income for about 2 years, and now they're more selective on their jobs, which is a good thing, of course. But overall, they're not taking the jobs that are required, so this is forcing companies to adapt in costly ways.
Well, and it does seem like people would rather stay home and stream all day and binge watch, cooking shows than actually go to work.
or binge watch C5 with Sarah Cowgill.
Well, yeah, that's okay. We could do that. Hey, here's what I've been hearing a lot lately, and I do not know what it means, and I hate to admit that, but I don't, which is why you're on my show today. The Great Resignation. Can you elaborate about that term that I keep hearing, but I have no idea what it means?
Yeah. So myself and Keelan Ferris, we've been writing about this on LibertyNation.com, and it's essentially just people leaving the workforce in droves in record numbers. On January 4th, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released the latest job quits data, and the number showed a record high of more than 4.5 million people. They submitted their resignations from their jobs. These people are leaving their job. It's really remarkable to watch how many people are just quitting. And this is important for a number of reasons, but I think that the number one factor that everyone should be concerned about is that companies are desperate for labor, and this is going to result in jacking up wages, which I think is going to intensify inflation pressures across the United States. There's also, at the same time, this also coincided with the 10.5 million job openings that happened also in November, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So the jobs are there. People are not taking it. I remember reading the other day an article from an economist, and he was talking about the Parisian Society or the Cafe Society in the 1920s, and he quoted author Henry Miller, and he said, Henry Miller said, I'm broke, I have nothing, I have no resources, and yet I'm happy. And that whole society was, people couldn't find jobs, so they just gave up and they just enjoyed themselves. They talked philosophy, they talked poetry, they just hung out in cafes. So I think in today's world, at least according to this economist who we were talking about, is that today's generation, millennials and Generation Zers, they've just, they've given up on life, and so now they want to enjoy it, and they don't want to be stuck to a 9 to 5 jobs like their parents or grandparents.
I think I witnessed that more than I want to around here. And you tapped on something. Wage growth has been incredible this year, but hasn't inflation kind of erased most of those hard-won gains by American workers? Can we, am I right? And can we expect a repeat this year?
Yeah, so the number is going to come out soon, but the latest one showed that wage growth was close to 5% in 2021. But the problem is, as you alluded to, is that real wage growth across nearly all sectors, minus leisure and hospitality, they've been eliminated by inflation. I think the latest number I saw was that real wage growth was negative 2.3% because of rampant price inflation. Whether this is contributing to the overall labor front that we're witnessing, who knows? But in the end, I think it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's great that the market is tilted in favor of workers again, and the workers can find jobs, they have leverage, they can get higher wages. On the other hand, what good is all this wage growth if you have price inflation at a near 40-year high, where you're paying so much for beef and veal, or it costs so much to put a gallon of gasoline in your tank? So it's really amazing, the post-crisis labor market we're witnessing, because I think most people didn't anticipate what we're seeing unfold in real time.
All right, Andrew, I'm gonna give you one last little subject to hit on. Give me a prediction. What are we going to be looking at this time next year?
Well, the consensus among most of these market analysts is that wage inflation, that's going to be the biggest factor throughout 2022. Others also see, price inflation across the board, particularly food and energy. So labor inflation and energy and food inflation, those are the main things to be watching for as the year progresses.
All right, Andrew, thank you so much for being on today and for helping all of us understand the ins and outs of the economics of what's going on in our country. Really do appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for this edition of LNTV. Remember to hit Liberty Nation News for original articles, the Uprising podcast, Liberty Nation Radio, and our signature television program, The Conservative 5. Just go to libertynation.com on your browser, or hit Rumble, YouTube, or check out our Liberty Nation News Roku channel. I'm Sarah Cowgill, and thank you for watching. This program is a production of libertynation.com, conservative news where truth is making a comeback.
We're doing it for real, really real. Liberty Nation.
And Jeff Charles, contributor for libertynation.com.
I think we're starting to make an impact. Liberty style, fight for freedom.
The tracking poll sponsored by Liberty Nation for Thursday.
Mentioned by Dan Bongino, Rasmussen, Jordan Peterson, and
I can
others.
do it again if you want me to.
Cited in Mark Levin's American Marxism.
I think we're starting to make a real big impact. Get noticed. We're doing it. Rock on. I'm gone.